do we go from having an idea to having a product or service that's launched? I'd like to tell you what I've done through my many years of solopreneurship and working with teams that has helped me. So I call it my double D system. Other people call it other things. I'd like to give some credit to the Design Council and a website that's called designorate.com, because they do similar things, but I take my coaching practice and I tweak it and tell you a couple little tricks that I've used over the years. So, double D system: discover, define, develop, and deliver. Really straightforward stuff. Each of these phases requires different qualities of the team. So you have to acknowledge that. You have to understand that even though you might own the company, even though you might run the board of directors, even though you're the manager, somebody else on your team will do well with one of these aspects better than you can. And you should give them some empowerment and ownership by putting them in charge of that part. It makes your team stronger. Little suggestion right there. So, a little bit about me, and we'll circle back later because I'm not going to wear you out. I'm an executive growth mindset coach. That's pretty cool. My certifications are in NLP, so there's some of that mixed into this process as well. I use it in my business every day. We're working on a huge project right now that could be 11 figures. This works if you have a $100 product. It works across the board. So it's really important to divide up these 4 qualities and have different spaces if you can, and music if you can. And if you stay till the end, I'll tell you which music I use for all of these different qualities. So, discover. This is our inspiration phase. We need to dream big. If we're going to change a service or a product, it has to be not incrementally better. It has to be twice as good, or the market is going to ignore us. It's just a fact. People are into what they already do, even if it's not a perfect solution. Your new idea has to be that much better. So don't cut yourself short here. You know, really dream big. So I like, again, we'll talk about this more later, but there's a specific courtyard in my office that we use for this. So during this time, emotions are going to come out. We're going to get excited, but I want you to think about your end user. What is the problem they're having with the current product, and how does that make them feel? Is that emotion because the product doesn't work, or that their life in general around this product, it's a symptom? If we can get to a cause, we can affect change and we can get people to buy in much quicker. So, number 2, define. We need to turn these huge ideas into a workable plan with responsibilities assigned and timelines. You have to have these goals. And here's a suggestion for everybody: shorter goals are better. If you give someone 45 days to come back to the team with a proposal, they might not work on it till day 40. If you give them 14 days, they get started. It's a great, great method, and a lot of companies make big mistakes by pushing their timelines out too far on these things. So we, again, great soundtracks are bound here. Here's the one rule about making the plan: we're not allowed to crap on the dream. All right? We need to make a plan that could work based on the dream that we all agreed on in the first place. We'll talk about refinement further down the line here. 3, develop. This is critical. Develop is when we criticize our plan. We throw everything we have against it, and then what I love to do, I love to crowdsource this. So if we pick out 10 target companies that would be interested in our product, I actually call up the bottom 5, numbers 6 through 10, and tell them about our great new product and let them pick it apart and then improve our plan. And then that's when we're going to pitch it to our top 5 prospects. Because our top 5 prospects are going to bring us more love, more income, more notoriety in the industry, and get that snowball effect going for us. The rules here. We're not allowed to crap on the plan, really. And we will only tweak the dream within the boundaries, because in the end, our customer always gives us the last 20% of product development in an ideal company, in a growth mindset company, where we want to satisfy the end user and not force our solution or what we think is our solution on that end user. Deliver. This is the hardest part for most people, because if you're creative, you just assume, and you've taken these other 2 steps, you think the market is going to come to you. The market almost never comes to you. Better mousetraps come to mind. There have been better mousetraps produced for 150 years. We still use the wooden mousetrap with that spring that can take our finger off. So, remember that. So how are we going to deliver this product? We have to have an action plan. How we're going to release it, how we're going to promote it, social media, free samples, freemium programs are great. I've covered that in other videos. Now, we have already set up in our planning phase what our key performance indicators are. So the question is, when are we going to evaluate it? Are we going to evaluate it after 7 days, 45 days, 6 months, or a year? I say yes. I think you should evaluate it on an ongoing process, but to not take too much from the first 14 days. You can see if the market recognizes your product, and recognition is key. 45 days, maybe you're starting to get some momentum, some sales. You'll get different feedback back. So what are we going to do with our KPIs? This is where we're going to evaluate and tweak. We're going to have someone on the team in charge of filtering the feedback, almost from a 1-star to a 5-star system, what people love, what people hate, and the ones in the middle actually give us those little tweaks that we've missed so far on how we can improve our next version of this product. No product is 100% spectacular coming out of the box, and the software companies and Apple and all of those great corporations over the last decade and 2 have released beta products. Again, we let the audience define that last 20%. So I want to give something away to everybody, because if you followed me so far, I want to give you something of value. You'll find my 8 essential questions worksheet extremely helpful in this project development and implementation. You'll see the link in the description box below. Those 8 questions will help your team and your customers give you the feedback and inspiration you need for every step of this process. So, we've taken what we did. We have a plan. We've developed it. We've delivered it. We've started to get our feedback. We take our feedback, we improve our process, and we start the entire plan over again. Here's where I do these things. The discovery phase, the inspiration phase. I like to do it in my courtyard, out at work. We've got a courtyard with 4 or 5 tables. We put them together. We put the chairs around in almost a kumbaya circle, and we just throw ideas and we write them on whiteboards. And we refine our technique that way. I have a Styx soundtrack, but I'm an old guy. So your music is going to vary here. But Styx is a nice, uplifting, bouncy, kind of early rock and roll, progressive rock, get you going, get you thinking, inspirational music, right? You've got your own. For the definition phase, I like my boardroom. I've got a conference room for 18. It's a circular table. All the seats are around it. We've got 2 whiteboards in there, and we've got the monitor that we can put our stuff up on. So the music we like for that, we've got an Iggy Azalea soundtrack. It's kind of bouncy music, kind of keeps us moving. For developing our plan, the community area. We sometimes use these high top tables for lunch. Great place to put a team around. And we play early Beatles for that. Something softer, something, where it's not going to get us going too aggressively, because we need to maintain a regular balance there. Our really exciting music earlier and delivering. We've got a community area at work where people, they don't have some people have their regular desk, but pretty much you sit down at different desks every day and you interact with different people every day when you're not working from home. So on those days, we use some meditation music or some binaural beats. And that's how we do it. How you do it can be a little bit different, but here's what I want to remind everybody. You do not have every one of these skills, and you cannot switch from every one of these skills to each new skill for each different area as quickly as you can if you have a team and assign roles and give them, again, some ownership, give them some independence, give them some management experience, because if you're a growing organization, you want to be able to identify the people who are going to be your next managers, because sometimes our current managers leave. So by giving team members some responsibilities in this way, we can stay in our zone of genius. We can still manage everything, but we are going to be a stronger team. I'm Coach Rod. If you'd like a training on this in your offices, that's something we could do. Have a great day.